I'm Dr. Anjali Mehta, a primary care physician practicing at Riverside Community Clinic, nestled in the heart of a bustling urban neighborhood. Riverside is more than just a medical facility. It's a place that pulses with the rhythm of the community it serves, a diverse tapestry of cultures, ages, and stories. Every morning when I step through its doors, I'm reminded that primary care is not merely about diagnosing and treating illnesses. It's about building lasting relationships that shape the health and well-being of those who walk through our waiting room. Comment your thoughts on unexpected connections in healthcare, and don't forget to subscribe. Primary care is often described as the backbone of healthcare, and at Riverside, this is vividly true. We are the front line, the first point of contact for patients navigating the complexities of health. The clinic hums with activity, the soft murmur of conversations, the shuffle of medical charts, the gentle clatter of keyboards as nurses and physicians collaborate. Here, we see everything, from routine checkups and preventive care to the management of chronic diseases and the unexpected emergencies that life throws at us. The diversity of cases mirrors the diversity of the people we serve, each patient carrying a unique set of experiences and challenges. What draws me to this field is the profound human connection embedded in primary care. Unlike specialized medicine, where interactions can be narrowly focused on a single system or disease, primary care invites a holistic approach. I come to know my patients not only through their symptoms, but through the narratives they share, their families, their work, their fears and hopes. Over time, these stories weave together, forming bonds that transcend the clinical setting. It's this aspect that transforms medicine from a transaction into a partnership. There is an undeniable beauty in the continuity of care, seeing patients grow, adapting to their changing needs, celebrating their health milestones, and standing by them during difficult times. It is a privilege to witness generations pass through our clinic's doors, sometimes bringing their children and grandchildren for care, trusting us to be a constant in their lives. The responsibility is immense, but so is the reward. Yet, primary care is not without its challenges. The demands are high, with limited time for each consultation and a constant balancing act between thoroughness and efficiency. In an environment where resources can be stretched thin, maintaining the quality of care requires vigilance and resilience. The diversity of our patient population also means navigating language barriers, cultural differences, and varied health literacy levels. These factors add layers of complexity but also enrich the practice, reminding me that medicine is as much about communication and empathy as it is about science. Every day at Riverside offers moments that reaffirm why I chose this path. The smile of a child receiving their first vaccination, the relief in a patient's eyes after years of managing hypertension, or the gratitude expressed by a family when we catch a health issue early. All these instances underscore the impact of compassionate, continuous care. I often reflect on the unpredictable nature of my work. While some days follow a predictable pattern, others bring encounters that surprise and challenge me, moments that remind me of the unpredictability of human health and the depth of connection that primary care fosters. It is in these moments that the true essence of my role emerges, not just as a healer, but as a confidant, an advocate, and a partner in health. Riverside Community Clinic embodies this spirit. It is a place where the science of medicine meets the art of listening, where protocols meet personal stories. Here, every patient is more than a diagnosis. They are a person with a history, a context, and a future. This perspective shapes how I approach each day, each consultation, and each patient encounter. As I prepare to meet the patients who fill our waiting room, I carry with me a sense of purpose and humility. The work can be demanding, the challenge is real, but the opportunity to make a meaningful difference in people's lives is what sustains me. In primary care, every name, every face, every story matters. It is this belief that grounds me as I step into the rhythm of Riverside, ready to listen, to understand, and to care. Riverside Community Clinic is a place where stories intersect and lives unfold in unexpected ways. The waiting room is a microcosm of the neighborhood, a blend of languages, ages, and backgrounds that reflect the city's vibrant diversity. Each day, I encounter patients whose experiences differ widely, yet all are bound by a shared need for care and understanding. It's a dynamic environment, where every appointment holds the potential for discovery, both medical and personal. One crisp autumn morning, as I prepared for a full day of consultations, the clinic buzzed with its usual energy. Patients settled into chairs, some flipping through magazines, others quietly observing the ebb and flow of activity around them. The receptionists managed a steady stream of check-ins and inquiries, while nurses called names and guided patients through preliminary assessments. It was a scene I had witnessed countless times, yet that day would soon bring an encounter that felt refreshingly different. Mr. Rajiv Sharma was called from the waiting area, his gait steady but deliberate as he approached my consultation room. What caught me off guard was the greeting he offered even before I had introduced myself. "Dr. Mehta," he asked, his voice calm, but carrying a note of warmth and familiarity. The surprise registered immediately. I seldom had patients who knew my name before the formal introductions. It was a small moment, but one that made the routine feel suddenly charged with curiosity. The other patients in the waiting room caught the shift in atmosphere. Some glanced toward the doorway, sensing the unusual start to the consultation. I welcomed Mr. Sharma with a smile, inwardly intrigued by his recognition. "Yes, I'm Dr. Mehta. How can I help you today?" I asked, gesturing for him to take a seat. He settled into the chair opposite me, his eyes steady as he began to speak. There was a quiet dignity in his presence, a sense that he carried with him many years of life experience. As he shared the health concerns that had brought him here, some aches and fatigue that had gradually crept in over recent months, I found myself drawn not only to the medical details, but also to the subtle undercurrents of familiarity that his initial greeting had sparked. The fact that he knew my name before I even spoke it planted a seed of curiosity. Had we met before? Was there a connection I had overlooked? These questions hovered in the background as I listened attentively, performing my usual clinical assessment while simultaneously trying to piece together the puzzle of our unexpected recognition. Throughout the consultation, Mr. Sharma's manner was respectful yet confident, his familiarity with my name suggesting a deeper connection than a typical first-time visit. I maintained a professional demeanor, yet inside, a quiet intrigue grew. How had he come to know me? The question felt important, not merely out of personal interest, but because it hinted at the profound ways in which healthcare relationships can form beyond the walls of the clinic. As the appointment progressed, I took care to document his symptoms thoroughly, ordered the necessary tests, and discussed lifestyle adjustments that might improve his well-being. Yet, even as we navigated the clinical aspects, there was an unspoken layer to our interaction, a recognition that transcended the usual patient-doctor dynamic. When the consultation concluded, Mr. Sharma thanked me warmly and prepared to leave. Before stepping out, he paused and said, "I'm glad to finally meet you in person, Dr. Mehta. I've heard a lot about you." The words resonated deeply, stirring a sense of connection that felt rare and meaningful. As his figure disappeared into the hallway, I was left contemplating the significance of this brief but memorable encounter. In a clinic as busy as Riverside, moments like these stand out. They remind me that medicine is not just about symptoms and treatments, but about the human bonds that underlie every interaction. The rest of the day unfolded with its usual cadence, yet my thoughts often returned to Mr. Sharma. His recognition of my name before any formal introduction challenged my assumptions about the boundaries between doctor and patient. It suggested that the connections we build extend beyond scheduled appointments and clinical encounters. They are woven into the fabric of community and shared experience. In the waiting room, I noticed that some patients looked on with quiet interest, perhaps sensing the unusual nature of the exchange. It was a reminder that in primary care, every interaction can ripple outward, influencing not only those directly involved but the broader environment of care. This unexpected moment infused my day with a renewed sense of purpose. It underscored how the simple act of knowing and being known can transform the clinical experience. At Riverside, where the pace is swift and the challenges many, such moments provide a grounding force, a reminder of why we do this work. As I prepared for the next patient, I carried with me the warmth of that initial greeting, the curiosity it sparked, and the subtle but profound impact of a patient calling me by name. It was a small gesture, but one that illuminated the deeper connections at the heart of healthcare, a connection I was eager to explore further in the days to come. As I settled back into my chair after Mr. Sharma left, a quiet curiosity lingered, pulling at the edges of my thoughts. His familiarity with my name was no casual coincidence, and I found myself eager to understand the story behind it. When I next saw him for a follow-up appointment a few days later, the intrigue deepened. He greeted me again, this time with a knowing smile, as if acknowledging an unspoken bond that had already begun to take shape. "Dr. Mehta," he said, "it's good to see you again." His ease contrasted with the formality I often encountered during first visits, and I welcomed the shift. As I reviewed his symptoms and test results, we began the clinical dance familiar to any physician and patient: questions, observations, explanations. Yet beneath the surface, my mind returned repeatedly to the mystery of how he knew my name so well. The standard introductions felt almost redundant between us, and I found myself searching for answers amidst the usual medical routine. "Mr. Sharma," I said gently, "I'm curious. How did you come to know my name before we met today? It's not common for patients to be so familiar right away." My tone balanced professionalism with genuine interest, an invitation for him to share what lay behind that simple yet profound recognition. He paused thoughtfully before responding, eyes reflecting a mixture of warmth and reflection. "It's a bit of a story," he began. "I've been part of the community here for many years, and I've attended some of the health talks and screenings organized by the clinic. You were one of the speakers at a recent event, and even though I hadn't met you personally, I remembered your name from then." His explanation illuminated the connection, and I felt a sense of relief mingled with appreciation. That moment underscored the power of community engagement and the ripple effects it can have on patient relationships. It wasn't just about clinical care within these four walls. It was about presence, visibility, and the trust that builds when healthcare professionals step beyond the exam room to meet people where they are. As we continued our conversation, I found myself reflecting on how these informal encounters shaped the therapeutic relationship. Knowing my name had given Mr. Sharma a sense of familiarity and comfort, creating a bridge between us even before the first consultation. It was a reminder that medicine thrives not only on expertise, but on connection. Throughout the appointment, I remained attentive not only to his physical health, but to the subtle nuances of our interaction. The ease of his questions, the openness in his responses, the way he seemed more relaxed than many first-time patients. This familiarity, born from a community event, had translated into trust, a vital ingredient in effective healthcare. I also noted how this realization challenged some of my assumptions. Often, I viewed patient encounters as discrete, isolated events, but Mr. Sharma's case revealed the continuity that exists beyond scheduled visits. Our relationship had begun in a different context, extending the reach of care into the community itself. As the consultation drew to a close, I made a mental note to be more intentional about these outreach efforts. The impact was tangible, as evidenced by Mr. Sharma's comfort and openness. Such connections could only enhance the quality of care we provide, especially in a diverse setting like Riverside. Before he left, Mr. Sharma expressed his gratitude once more. "It means a lot to me that you remember these events and take the time to connect outside the clinic. It makes coming here less intimidating." His words resonated deeply, highlighting the emotional dimensions of healthcare that often go unspoken. I nodded, acknowledging the truth in his statement. The clinical environment can indeed feel daunting, especially for patients who may be managing complex health issues or facing language and cultural barriers. Building familiarity and trust through community presence can ease those challenges and foster a more supportive atmosphere. The experience also sparked a broader reflection on the role of primary care physicians. Beyond diagnosing and prescribing, we serve as educators, advocates, and pillars within our communities. Engaging with patients in multiple contexts enriches these roles and reinforces the human connections that underpin effective medicine. In the days that followed, I shared this encounter with my colleagues at Riverside. Our discussions revolved around ways to enhance community engagement and strengthen the ties between clinic and neighborhood. Mr. Sharma's story became a catalyst for new ideas and renewed commitment to patient-centered care. Meanwhile, I continued to follow Mr. Sharma's progress, tailoring his treatment plan with the growing trust between us as a foundation. His willingness to share openly and adhere to recommendations was a testament to the power of that initial recognition and ongoing rapport. This unfolding interaction reminded me that the practice of medicine extends far beyond clinical expertise alone. It is about the relationships we cultivate, the trust we nurture, and the humanity we honor in every patient encounter. Mr. Sharma's familiarity with my name was more than a simple greeting. It was a doorway into a deeper partnership, one that would shape his care and enrich my own journey as a physician. As I prepared for each subsequent visit, I carried with me the understanding that these connections, often subtle and unanticipated, are the lifeblood of primary care. They transform appointments into dialogues, treatments into collaborations, and health challenges into shared journeys. In this way, the story of Mr. Sharma and the simple act of knowing a name became a powerful lesson in the art of healing. Driven by the curiosity sparked during my conversations with Mr. Sharma, I decided to delve deeper into his history, both medical and personal, to better understand the roots of our unexpected familiarity. I reviewed his medical records meticulously, noting his previous visits to the clinic and the notes from various healthcare providers who had cared for him over the years. Yet, none of these detailed entries revealed how he had come to know me by name before our first formal meeting. Determined to uncover the connection, I reached out to the clinic's community outreach coordinator, someone who managed the health events and educational programs in which the clinic actively participated. Through our conversation, a piece of the puzzle fell into place. Several months earlier, the clinic had hosted a community health fair focused on chronic disease management, where I had presented on preventing and managing hypertension and diabetes, two conditions prevalent in our neighborhood. Mr. Sharma had attended that event, mingling among the crowd of residents seeking information and support. Though he had not yet been a patient under my direct care, he had heard me speak and remembered my name from the session. This discovery illuminated the subtle, yet profound ways in which our roles as physicians extend beyond clinical appointments, reaching into the community to plant seeds of trust and recognition. Reflecting on this, I realized how small acts of engagement, simply standing before a group, sharing knowledge, and offering reassurance, can resonate deeply with individuals. For Mr. Sharma, hearing my name in that context had created a sense of familiarity that softened the initial barriers often felt in clinical encounters. It was a reminder that the impact of healthcare transcends the walls of the clinic, flowing outward into the lives of those we serve. This realization carried an emotional weight. It underscored the importance of presence and outreach in building meaningful relationships, especially in a setting like Riverside, where many patients face socioeconomic challenges, language differences, and mistrust of the healthcare system. The health fair was not merely an educational event. It was a bridge connecting the clinic to the community, fostering a spirit of partnership and mutual respect. As I considered the significance of this connection, I felt a renewed sense of purpose. The discovery that Mr. Sharma's recognition stemmed from a shared community experience reinforced the idea that healthcare is a collective endeavor. It is shaped not only by individual consultations, but by the ongoing dialogue between providers and the people they serve. In the days following this insight, I made a point to engage more actively in the clinic's outreach initiatives, understanding that these opportunities enriched the fabric of care. I began collaborating with the outreach team to develop sessions tailored to the specific needs of our neighborhood, aiming to create spaces where patients could feel seen and heard before even stepping into the clinic. At the same time, I reflected on the emotional resonance of knowing a patient's name before formal introductions. For Mr. Sharma, it was a gesture of recognition that conveyed respect and acknowledgement, elements essential to healing and trust. It struck me that in the often hurried pace of clinical practice, such personal connections can sometimes be overlooked, yet they hold immense power. This awareness influenced how I approached my ongoing care for Mr. Sharma. I became more attuned to the nuances of our interactions, mindful of the trust that had been seeded long before his first appointment. Our conversations grew richer and more open, allowing for a collaborative approach to his health challenges. Moreover, this experience prompted me to consider the broader implications for patient care. How many other individuals in our community might benefit from similar engagements? How could we systematically weave these connections into the fabric of healthcare delivery? ensuring that recognition and trust are not left to chance, but are foundational elements of practice. These questions led to discussions within the clinic about enhancing continuity of care and fostering environments where patients feel genuinely known and valued. Mr. Sharma's case became emblematic of the profound impact that small acts of connection can have, inspiring a shift toward more intentional relationship-building strategies. In the quiet moments between appointments, I often thought about the layers of familiarity and recognition that shape patient experiences. Mr. Sharma's story reminded me that healthcare is not confined to diagnoses and treatments. It is a human endeavor grounded in empathy, respect, and connection. As I continued to care for him, I witnessed firsthand how these elements translated into improved communication, adherence to treatment plans, and overall well-being. The journey we embarked on together was enriched by a shared history that began outside the clinic walls, a testament to the enduring value of outreach and personal engagement. Ultimately, uncovering the link between Mr. Sharma's recognition and the community health event deepened my appreciation for the subtle ways in which medicine and humanity intertwine. It affirmed that every patient relationship is rooted not only in clinical facts, but also in moments of connection that transcend conventional boundaries. This understanding continues to shape my approach to primary care, reminding me that the smallest gestures, remembering a name, sharing knowledge, showing up in the community, can have transformative effects. Mr. Sharma's experience stands as a powerful example of how healthcare, at its best, is a shared journey built on trust, familiarity, and the profound impact of being truly seen. In the quiet moments following my discovery about Mr. Sharma's familiarity with my name, I found myself reflecting deeply on the broader meaning of that simple recognition. It wasn't merely about knowing a patient's name before a formal introduction. It spoke to something far more fundamental, the essence of trust and connection that underpins effective healthcare. As a primary care physician, I have always valued continuity, the ongoing relationship that develops between doctor and patient over time. But this experience challenged me to consider the depth and nuances of that connection. What does it truly mean to know a patient? Is it simply familiarity with their medical history? Or does it encompass something more profound, something woven through shared experiences, recognition, and respect? I realized that knowing a patient's name before meeting them in the clinic signified a bridge of trust built outside the traditional boundaries of medical encounters. It revealed how the threads of personal connection often extend beyond the exam room, reaching into community spaces where healing begins long before a stethoscope is placed on a patient's chest. This insight urged me to reconsider how I approached patient interactions. Too often, the pace of clinical practice pressures us to focus on symptoms, diagnoses, and treatment plans, sometimes at the expense of the relational aspects that give care its human dimension. Yet, it is precisely those relationships, rooted in trust, respect, and continuity, that foster openness, adherence, and ultimately better outcomes. As I pondered this, I thought about the role of names in our lives. A name is not just a label. It is an acknowledgement of identity, a recognition of personhood. When a patient hears their name spoken with familiarity and care, it can evoke a sense of being seen and valued beyond their illness. This simple act carries emotional resonance, reinforcing the therapeutic alliance and nurturing a safe space for healing. Mr. Sharma's case illuminated this beautifully. His knowing my name before meeting me transformed what might have been a routine clinical encounter into a shared journey marked by mutual recognition. It challenged me to honor the individuality of each patient, seeing beyond the charts and symptoms to the person who carries a history, emotions, and hopes. This reflection also made me more aware of the cultural and social layers that influence patient relationships. In a diverse community like Riverside, where language barriers and differing health beliefs often complicate care, establishing trust requires intentionality and humility. Recognizing a patient by name, recalling details about their life, and engaging with their story are vital steps toward bridging divides and fostering inclusivity. I began to incorporate these lessons into my daily practice more consciously. Before entering each exam room, I reminded myself to pause and consider the person behind the medical record. I sought to greet patients warmly, using their names not just as identifiers, but as invitations to partnership. I listened more attentively, not only to their words but to the emotions and context that shaped their health experiences. This shift in perspective enriched my interactions profoundly. Patients responded with greater openness, sharing concerns they might otherwise have withheld. Consultations became dialogues rather than monologues, collaborative endeavors rooted in mutual respect. The therapeutic alliance grew stronger, and I witnessed firsthand how these relational elements enhanced the effectiveness of care. At the same time, I grappled with the challenges of maintaining this approach within the constraints of a busy clinic. Time pressures, administrative demands, and the sheer volume of patients can make personalized attention difficult. Yet, Mr. Sharma's experience reminded me that even small gestures, remembering a name, recalling a personal detail, or showing genuine interest, can make a significant difference. This realization inspired me to advocate for systemic changes within Riverside Community Clinic. I encouraged my colleagues to prioritize continuity and personal connection, and we explored strategies to improve patient engagement, such as assigning patients to consistent care teams and integrating community outreach with clinical practice. Our discussions highlighted the need to create environments where relationships could flourish despite operational challenges. Moreover, I reflected on how this experience reshaped my understanding of patient-centered care. It reinforced that medicine is not just a science but an art of listening, empathy, and presence. Knowing a patient's name before meeting them encapsulated this art, symbolizing the delicate balance between knowledge and humanity that defines effective healthcare. In moments of quiet reflection, I often considered the emotional impact of this recognition on Mr. Sharma himself. Being known and remembered can alleviate feelings of invisibility and alienation that many patients experience, especially in large, impersonal healthcare systems. It affirms their dignity and fosters a sense of belonging, which is essential for psychological and emotional well-being. This awareness deepened my commitment to seeing patients as whole persons, honoring their stories and identities alongside their medical needs. It challenged me to embrace humility, recognizing that every patient teaches me something new about the complexities of healing and the power of connection. As I continued to care for Mr. Sharma and others, I carried these lessons with me, striving to cultivate relationships grounded in trust, respect, and continuity. I understood that these bonds are not incidental but fundamental to the practice of primary care, foundations upon which effective medicine is built. Ultimately, this experience became a touchstone in my career, reminding me that beyond diagnoses and treatments lies the human heart of medicine. Knowing a patient's name before formal introductions is more than a courtesy. It is a profound expression of empathy and recognition that breathes life into clinical care. In embracing this truth, I found renewed purpose and joy in my work, inspired by the knowledge that every connection, no matter how small, holds the potential to transform lives and foster healing. It is this understanding that continues to guide me at Riverside Community Clinic, shaping my approach to medicine and deepening my commitment to compassionate, patient-centered care. From Mr. Sharma's perspective, the simple act of knowing my name before our first consultation carried a significance that went beyond words. For him, it was a gesture of recognition that spoke to the core of what it means to be seen and valued as an individual within the often overwhelming world of healthcare. In the months leading up to his visit, Mr. Sharma had grappled with feelings common among many elderly patients: uncertainty, vulnerability, and a sense of invisibility amid the bustling clinic environment. The prospect of seeking medical care stirred a mixture of hope and apprehension, shadowed by past experiences where he felt reduced to a list of symptoms or a faceless record number. But when he attended the community health event months earlier and heard my name spoken with warmth and authority, something shifted. That recognition planted a seed of trust, a quiet assurance that there was a familiar presence within the healthcare system who understood the community's needs and cared about their well-being. The memory of that moment lingered, providing comfort and a sense of belonging. It was this familiarity that gave him the courage to seek care at Riverside Clinic, knowing he would be met not just by a clinician, but by someone who had already extended a hand of connection. During our consultations, Mr. Sharma expressed how meaningful it was to be remembered and addressed by name. He spoke of how this simple human acknowledgement eased his anxieties and fostered an openness that allowed him to share concerns he might otherwise have kept to himself. The emotional bond formed through this mutual recognition transcended the typical patient-doctor relationship, creating a foundation of trust and respect. He reflected on how, for many patients, especially in diverse and underserved communities, the healthcare experience can feel impersonal or intimidating. Language barriers, cultural differences, and systemic challenges often amplify feelings of isolation. In this context, being known and remembered becomes a powerful antidote, a source of dignity and hope. Mr. Sharma's story highlighted the profound impact of empathy and personalized attention. The recognition he felt was a balm not only for his physical ailments, but for the emotional and psychological burdens that accompany illness. It was a reminder that healing encompasses more than medical interventions. It involves nurturing the whole person. Our conversations revealed the delicate interplay between clinical care and the human connection that sustains it. For Mr. Sharma, the emotional resonance of being acknowledged created a therapeutic alliance that enhanced his engagement and adherence to treatment plans. It transformed healthcare from a series of appointments into a relationship grounded in mutual respect. This bond also fostered a sense of shared responsibility. Mr. Sharma felt empowered to participate actively in his care, motivated by the confidence that his physician understood and valued him. The recognition he experienced was not passive. It was a catalyst for collaboration and partnership. In turn, this mutual respect enriched my own experience as his physician. Knowing that my presence and recognition could alleviate some of his fears and foster trust deepened my commitment to patient-centered care. It reminded me that medicine is as much about human connection as it is about clinical expertise. I came to appreciate that the emotional dimensions of healthcare are often invisible but profoundly influential. The comfort derived from being seen and remembered can shape patient outcomes in ways that medical interventions alone cannot achieve. It is a testament to the healing power of empathy. Reflecting on Mr. Sharma's perspective, I recognized that this emotional bond transcended roles, blurring the lines between provider and recipient. It was a relationship nourished by mutual recognition, respect, and the shared human experience of vulnerability and hope. This understanding reinforced the importance of cultivating empathy and personal attention in clinical practice. It challenged me to approach every patient encounter with mindfulness, recognizing the unique emotional landscape each individual brings. Mr. Sharma's experience also underscored the role of continuity in strengthening these bonds. The recognition that began at a community event blossomed into a therapeutic alliance sustained through ongoing care. It illustrated how relationships evolve and deepen over time, becoming a source of resilience and healing. In the broader context, his story highlighted the need for healthcare systems to prioritize emotional connection alongside medical treatment. It called attention to the human aspect of care that can sometimes be overshadowed by technology, protocols, and efficiency metrics. As I continued to care for Mr. Sharma, I remained mindful of the emotional resonance that our mutual recognition fostered. It influenced how I communicated, how I listened, and how I engaged with him, not as a collection of symptoms, but as a whole person with a rich inner life. This experience expanded my understanding of healing, reminding me that the therapeutic alliance is a two-way street, nourished by empathy, trust, and genuine human connection. It is within this space that true healing begins, a space where patients feel known, respected, and supported. Mr. Sharma's story is a testament to the transformative power of recognition in medicine. It affirms that beyond the science of diagnosis and treatment lies the art of seeing and acknowledging the person before us, a practice that can heal wounds unseen and foster hope in the face of illness. In embracing this lesson, I carry forward a deeper appreciation for the emotional dimensions of care, committed to nurturing the bonds that make medicine not only effective but profoundly human. As the trust between Mr. Sharma and me deepened, I noticed a significant shift in the dynamic of our consultations. The initial recognition, his knowing my name before we'd formally met, had blossomed into a foundation upon which a genuine therapeutic alliance was built. This alliance transformed not only how we communicated, but also how we approached his care, fostering a partnership that was both collaborative and empowering. With this strengthened relationship, Mr. Sharma became more forthcoming about his symptoms and daily challenges. He shared details that might have otherwise remained unspoken, subtle changes in his energy, the nuances of his pain, and the emotional toll of managing multiple health issues. This openness allowed me to tailor his care plan more precisely, addressing not just the clinical manifestations but the lived experience of his illness. Our conversations evolved beyond the standard checklist of symptoms and medications. We discussed lifestyle modifications in the context of his routines and cultural preferences, explored his goals and fears, and navigated the complexities of treatment decisions together. This level of engagement was possible because the foundation of trust had lowered barriers, inviting honesty and collaboration. I recall one particular appointment when Mr. Sharma expressed concerns about the side effects of a new medication. Rather than dismissing his worries or making unilateral decisions, we talked through his experiences and options. Together, we adjusted his regimen, balancing efficacy with quality of life. This shared decision-making process exemplified the positive impact of our strengthened rapport. The confidence Mr. Sharma displayed in managing his health grew visibly. He adhered more consistently to treatment plans, attended follow-up appointments punctually, and even took initiative in monitoring his blood pressure at home. His engagement was a testament to the power of a therapeutic alliance grounded in recognition and respect. Moreover, this evolving relationship influenced how I approached his care holistically. I became more attentive to psychosocial factors influencing his health, his support networks, stressors, and community involvement. Understanding these dimensions allowed me to connect him with appropriate resources, from nutrition counseling to social services, thereby addressing determinants of health beyond the clinic walls. The ripple effects of this alliance extended beyond individual care. I observed a shift in Mr. Sharma's demeanor during visits. He appeared more at ease, confident, and hopeful. This emotional well-being is a critical yet often overlooked component of health, and nurturing it became an integral part of our work together. In practical terms, the strengthened therapeutic alliance prompted adjustments in scheduling and follow-up strategies. Recognizing that consistent contact fosters continuity, I coordinated with the clinic team to ensure that Mr. Sharma's appointments were spaced to optimize monitoring without overwhelming him. We also established open channels for communication, allowing him to reach out with concerns between visits. This ongoing dialogue proved invaluable. It enabled early identification of issues, timely interventions, and reinforced the partnership ethos that had become central to his care. The sense of being heard and supported translated into better health outcomes and a more satisfying healthcare experience for both of us. The impact of this alliance extended beyond clinical metrics. It enriched my professional fulfillment, reminding me of why I pursued primary care, the opportunity to walk alongside patients through the complexities of health and life. Mr. Sharma's journey illuminated the profound differences that personalized, relationship-centered care can make. At the same time, this experience highlighted the challenges inherent in fostering such alliances within busy, resource-constrained settings. Balancing time demands with the need for meaningful engagement required deliberate effort and prioritization. Yet, the benefits, improved adherence, patient satisfaction, and health outcomes, affirmed the value of investing in these relationships. This understanding fueled my advocacy within the clinic for models of care that prioritize continuity and personalization. I encouraged team-based approaches, where nurses, social workers, and health educators collaborate closely to support patients like Mr. Sharma. Together, we aim to create an environment where therapeutic alliances could flourish despite systemic pressures. Reflecting on this journey, I recognize that the therapeutic alliance is not a static achievement, but a dynamic, evolving process. It requires ongoing attention, empathy, and adaptability. The initial recognition that sparked our connection was merely the starting point of a deeper partnership that continues to grow with each encounter. Mr. Sharma's case became a beacon illustrating how trust and mutual respect can transform healthcare from a transactional experience into a shared journey toward well-being. It reaffirmed that when patients feel known and valued, they become active participants in their care, empowered to navigate health challenges with confidence. This experience also reshaped my perspective on the metrics of success in medicine. Beyond lab values and symptom control, I came to see the strength of the therapeutic alliance as a vital indicator of quality care. It is in these human connections that healing truly takes root. As I prepare for future appointments, I carry forward the lessons learned from Mr. Sharma. I strive to cultivate similar alliances with all my patients, recognizing that each relationship holds the potential to transform care. It is a continuous process of building trust, listening deeply, and honoring the individuality of those I serve. The journey with Mr. Sharma exemplifies the delicate balance between science and art in medicine, the science of diagnosis and treatment, and the art of connection and compassion. Together, they form the foundation of primary care, where healing is a shared endeavor grounded in humanity. In nurturing this alliance, I am reminded that medicine is more than a profession. It is a vocation rooted in relationships. The trust we build becomes a lifeline for patients, a source of hope and resilience amid the uncertainties of health. Through this ongoing partnership, Mr. Sharma and I navigate the complexities of his health with a shared commitment. Our alliance is a testament to the transformative power of recognition, empathy, and collaboration, elements that lie at the heart of effective, compassionate care. The encounter with Mr. Sharma and the evolving relationship we shared sparked a broader reflection on how we, as healthcare providers, can cultivate deeper connections with our patients amidst the demands of a busy clinic. It became clear to me that fostering continuity and familiarity is not merely a personal endeavor, but a systemic imperative, one that requires intentional strategies and a cultural shift within healthcare settings. At Riverside Community Clinic, where the patient population is diverse and the pace relentless, sustaining meaningful engagement can be challenging. Yet, Mr. Sharma's story illuminated the profound benefits of creating spaces where patients feel truly known and valued. It inspired me to explore ways to embed this ethos more deliberately into our practice. One of the first strategies we considered was enhancing continuity of care by assigning patients to dedicated care teams. By ensuring that patients like Mr. Sharma consistently see the same physician, nurse, and support staff, we aim to foster relationships that extend beyond isolated encounters. This approach not only builds trust, but also enables providers to understand patients' histories, preferences, and social contexts more deeply. We also recognize the importance of flexible scheduling and longer appointment times for patients with complex needs, allowing for thorough discussions and personalized care planning. While operational constraints make this difficult, prioritizing such allocations for patients most in need can improve satisfaction and outcomes. Community outreach emerged as another vital component. Mr. Sharma's familiarity with my name stemmed from his attendance at a health fair, an event that bridged the gap between clinic and community. Expanding these initiatives, we sought to create regular opportunities for informal engagement, such as educational workshops, screening events, and support groups. These gatherings not only disseminate health information, but also humanize healthcare providers, breaking down barriers and fostering trust. Moreover, we explored incorporating patient navigators and community health workers into the care team. These individuals, often members of the communities they serve, can build rapport with patients outside clinical settings, providing guidance, advocacy, and emotional support. Their presence reinforces the continuity of care and helps patients navigate complex healthcare systems. Technology also offers tools to enhance patient engagement. Secure messaging platforms, telemedicine, and patient portals facilitate communication between visits, allowing patients to ask questions, report symptoms, and receive timely advice. For patients like Mr. Sharma, who may face mobility or transportation challenges, these options increase accessibility and reinforce the therapeutic alliance. However, technology is not a substitute for human connection, but a complement. We remain mindful that personalized attention and empathy cannot be digitized. They require presence, listening, and responsiveness. Training staff in cultural competence and communication skills is essential to ensure that every patient encounter embodies respect and understanding. Within the clinic, we implemented team huddles and regular case discussions to share insights about patients' social and emotional needs. This collaborative approach ensures that all members of the care team contribute to a cohesive, patient-centered plan, reinforcing the sense of being known and supported. I also advocated for incorporating patient narratives into medical records, not merely clinical data, but stories, preferences, and personal goals. This practice helps providers connect more deeply with patients as individuals and tailor care accordingly. These initiatives reflect a broader commitment to transforming healthcare culture from transactional to relational. It is a shift that acknowledges patients as whole persons, whose health is intertwined with their experiences, environments, and identities. Mr. Sharma's experience underscored the value of remembering names and stories in medicine. It reminded us that recognition is a powerful act, one that can alleviate anxiety, foster trust, and motivate engagement. In busy clinical settings, taking the time to remember and honor patients' identities may seem small, but its impact is profound. As we implemented these strategies at Riverside, we encountered challenges, resource limitations, staff turnover, and the pressures of meeting clinical targets. Yet, the positive feedback from patients and improvements in care continuity affirmed the importance of persevering. These efforts also sparked conversations among colleagues about their own practices and the ways they could enhance patient relationships. Sharing stories like Mr. Sharma's fostered a collective awareness and inspired a culture of empathy and connection. Beyond the clinic, we engaged with community leaders and organizations to align our efforts with broader social supports. Recognizing that health is shaped by multiple determinants, collaboration across sectors became key to addressing barriers and promoting well-being. In reflecting on this journey, I am struck by how the simple act of knowing a patient's name before meeting them became a catalyst for systemic change. It revealed the potential for healthcare to transcend illness management and become a force for human connection and empowerment. The challenge remains to sustain and expand these approaches, ensuring that every patient experiences the dignity and respect that come from being truly known. It is a commitment that requires leadership, innovation, and a shared vision among healthcare providers, administrators, and communities. Mr. Sharma's story is a reminder that behind every medical chart is a person deserving of recognition and care. It calls us to reimagine healthcare not as a series of isolated encounters, but as a continuous, compassionate relationship. As I continue my work at Riverside Community Clinic, I carry forward this inspiration, striving to foster environments where familiarity and trust flourish, even in the face of complexity and constraint. It is in these spaces that healing takes root, and the true power of medicine is realized. As time went on, the experience with Mr. Sharma left an indelible mark on my philosophy of care, shaping how I approached not only his treatment, but my broader role as a primary care physician. The lessons learned from our evolving relationship deepened my appreciation for the centrality of personal connection in medicine, influencing my daily practice in ways both subtle and profound. I found myself increasingly attentive to the nuances of each patient's story, recognizing that every name carries a history, every face a complex narrative. This awareness prompted me to slow down when possible, to listen more deeply, and to engage with patients as partners rather than merely as cases to be managed. The art of medicine revealed itself anew in these moments of presence and empathy. This shift rippled through my interactions with colleagues at Riverside Community Clinic. Conversations about patient care took on a more relational tone, emphasizing continuity, trust, and the emotional dimensions of healing. I shared the insights gained from Mr. Sharma's journey, illustrating how recognizing a patient's identity beyond their symptoms enhances both satisfaction and outcomes. Our clinic culture began to reflect these values more openly. Team meetings incorporated discussions about building rapport and fostering trust, recognizing that these elements are foundational to effective care. Staff training sessions emphasized communication skills and cultural competence, equipping the entire care team to honor the individuality of each patient. Beyond the clinic walls, these principles influenced how I engaged with the community. I became more proactive in outreach efforts, participating in health fairs, educational workshops, and local forums. These engagements reinforced the reciprocal nature of healthcare, where providers learn from the communities they serve as much as patients learn from their clinicians. Mr. Sharma's case also heightened my sensitivity to the emotional and psychological aspects of care. I became more vigilant in identifying signs of distress, isolation, or fear among my patients, recognizing that healing encompasses mind and spirit alongside body. This holistic perspective enriched care plans and fostered collaborations with mental health professionals and social workers. The impact extended to mentoring younger physicians and trainees at Riverside. I encouraged them to prioritize relationship building, to see beyond diagnoses and protocols, and to embrace the humanity at the heart of medicine. Sharing stories like Mr. Sharma's served as powerful teaching tools, illustrating the transformative potential of empathy and continuity. Within the clinic, I advocated for systemic changes to support this philosophy. I worked with administrators to develop policies that promote longer appointment times for complex cases, integrated care teams, and enhanced patient follow-up systems. These initiatives aim to create an environment where personalized care is not an exception but the norm. I also found myself reflecting more deeply on the balance between efficiency and empathy in clinical practice. The pressures of modern healthcare often push providers toward rapid assessments and standardized protocols, risking the loss of personal connection. Mr. Sharma's experience reminded me that investing time and attention in patients yields dividends in trust, adherence, and well-being. This awareness fostered a sense of humility in my practice. I recognized that medicine is a shared journey, where providers and patients navigate uncertainties together. Each encounter offers opportunities for learning and growth, challenging assumptions and expanding understanding. Mr. Sharma's story became a touchstone for this mindset, a reminder that healing is a collaborative process grounded in respect and recognition. It inspired me to approach each patient with curiosity and openness, honoring their unique narratives and needs. As my philosophy evolved, I noticed changes in patient outcomes and satisfaction. Patients expressed greater confidence and comfort, reporting that they felt heard and valued. These indicators reinforced the importance of relational care as a critical component of quality healthcare. The ripple effects extended to the clinic's culture, fostering an environment where empathy and connection are celebrated and cultivated. Staff morale improved as team members witnessed the positive impact of their efforts on patients' lives. Yet, I remain mindful that this journey is ongoing. The complexities of healthcare demand continual reflection and adaptation. Mr. Sharma's experience serves as a beacon, guiding my commitment to uphold the dignity and humanity of every patient I encounter. In embracing this philosophy, I am reminded that the true measure of medicine lies not only in cures but in the connections forged along the way. The lessons learned from Mr. Sharma's journey continue to shape my approach, inspiring a practice rooted in compassion, respect, and partnership. As I look ahead, I carry forward the enduring message that knowing a patient's name and the story behind it is a profound act of healing. It is a call to honor the person within the patient and to build a healthcare system where such recognition is woven into every interaction. This commitment sustains me in the daily work of primary care, where the challenges are many but the rewards, measured in trust, growth, and shared humanity, are immeasurable. Through this lens, the journey with Mr. Sharma is not just a singular experience, but a catalyst for transformation, shaping the future of care at Riverside Community Clinic and beyond. Reflecting on the journey with Mr. Sharma, I am struck by how a seemingly simple act, knowing a patient's name before formal introductions, can ripple outward to transform the essence of healthcare. This experience reaffirmed the profound impact of recognition, empathy, and human connection in medicine, reminding me that at the heart of every clinical encounter lies a person longing to be seen and understood. In the hustle of a busy clinic like Riverside, it's easy to become absorbed in diagnostics, protocols, and treatment plans. Yet, Mr. Sharma's story brought into sharp focus the importance of pausing to honor the individual behind the chart. This recognition is not a mere courtesy. It is a foundational element of healing that fosters trust, engagement, and hope. The act of remembering a patient's name carries emotional weight. It conveys respect, validates identity, and builds bridges across cultural and social divides. It transforms an encounter from impersonal to personal, from transactional to relational. In doing so, it nurtures the therapeutic alliance that is essential for effective care. Mr. Sharma's journey illuminated how these connections extend beyond the clinic walls, rooted in community engagement, and shared experiences. It underscored the need for healthcare providers to step beyond the exam room, meeting patients where they are, both physically and emotionally. This story also highlights the enduring values at the core of patient-centered care: trust, empathy, respect, and continuity. These principles guide us toward a practice that honors the whole person, recognizing that healing involves more than treating symptoms. It requires attending to the emotional, social, and cultural dimensions of health. In embracing these lessons, I carry forward a renewed commitment to cultivate relationships that transcend diagnoses and procedures. I strive to create spaces where patients feel genuinely known and valued, where their stories shape their care, and where hope is nurtured alongside healing. The ripple effects of such connections extend beyond individual patients, influencing clinic culture, community health, and the very fabric of healthcare systems. They remind us that medicine is not only a science, but an art of presence, listening, and compassion. As I continue my work at Riverside Community Clinic, I am inspired by the resilience of the human spirit and the transformative power of recognition. Mr. Sharma's story is a testament to the hope that arises when patients and providers meet as partners in health, united by trust and mutual respect. This narrative serves as a beacon, guiding us toward a future where every patient is seen, heard, and valued, not just as a case to be managed, but as a person to be cared for. It is a call to uphold the core values of patient-centered care and to honor the profound human connections that define the healing journey. In the end, knowing a patient's name is more than an introduction. It is an invitation to engage deeply, to listen with empathy, and to walk alongside patients in their pursuit of health and well-being. It is through these connections that medicine finds its true meaning and its greatest promise.